Sora asked on my Analysing a Modern Fascist Book video, "Hey Tick, this isn't really related to the video, but I've recently heard the claim that Italian fascism, although not being anti-Semitic like you pointed out, was highly racist towards Slavs and Africans in their colonies, so what is your take on this?" A lot of people have made this argument, and after writing a quick reply to Sora, I thought, well, I may as well read it out so everyone can hear it. So here is my reply. There's a difference between bog standard racism and the ideology of fascism or National Socialism. So I'm not denying that there was racism anywhere in Italy or the Italian armed forces or even in the fascist party. But I am saying that the ideology of Italian fascism only started to bring in racist elements around 1936-ish, when Mussolini wanted to align with Hitler after being isolated on the diplomatic level thanks to the Ethiopian War. So, while racism was a thing in practically every country at the time, that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody was fascist and fascism was racism. There is a distinction to be made, and I would also say that Italian fascism was nationalistic, not racist nationalism, just old-fashioned nationalism, and their attacks upon the Ethiopians were driven by pro-Italian nationalism, which maybe had some racism latched onto it, rather than ideological racism. They were pro-Italian on nationalist grounds, not racist grounds, until the late 1930s at least. Another way to think about it, Britain conquered a quarter of the globe because of free trade and making money, not because they just wanted to enslave other people. If they just wanted slaves, why would they sail all the way to India first before conquering Africa? Why would they sail to North America or Australia? That doesn't make sense until you realise that they only did so because of economics. And yes, there was racism that accompanied the conquests, and obviously slavery at first, until Britain adopted classic liberalism and was the first empire in history to fight to free the slaves. However, it wasn't ideological racism that drove the expansion of the British Empire. It wasn't anything like National Socialism. Racism accompanied the expansion, but it didn't drive it. Same with Italian fascism. Racism accompanied the expansion, but it didn't drive it. With National Socialism, however, racism drove the expansion and everything else that came along with. So there is a distinction, and if we don't recognise it, we'll come to the wrong conclusions, which would be dangerous because our view of the world will be distorted. The left today don't make this distinction. They lump everything together and then come to stupid conclusions like Churchill being a fascist, despite the fact that for almost a year, Churchill and the British were the only ones fighting Mussolini and Hitler. And I'm not saying Churchill wasn't racist or a bad guy, I'm just pointing out that he wasn't fascist. He locked up Oswald Mosley and many other fascists in Britain. Thanks for watching, bye for now.